What's up, guys? Today is my first day of practicing being a therapist since it's something that I want to do when I grow up. So what I'm gonna be doing is just kind of going through stories on Reddit, like asking for advice and stuff, and kind of trying to help. So, this was something I wanted to do for a while. I just kind of got nervous thinking about it, but now it's time to take action for it. But just a heads up, I have no qualifications or training, so giving this advice, if you actually try and follow it, take it with a grain of salt because I'm in no way, shape, or form qualified. I'm only a sophomore in college, but this is something I want to try to gain experience helping people and to kind of fit the role of being a therapist. So let's get into this first story. Okay, this first story is named Need Advice, Breaking Up While My Girlfriend is Away with Her Other Partner. So I'm just gonna read the story and then give my thoughts, give some advice, and maybe read some comments too. So this was posted July 29th, 2025. So, hello, long-time worker, first-time poster. I need your help figuring out the ethical way to end a long-term E&M relationship, which is like a polyamorous relationship. For some background, my girlfriend, 28 female, and I, 28 male, have been together for about 6 years. We talked about opening up during lockdown, but only started acting on it while it was safe again. The first 2 years were basically one-sided, with me not having any success while she kept meeting new people. I had a lot of emotional work to do, but I eventually worked on myself and managed a few flings of my own. Dating became her main social outlet, and she kept pushing for poly, which created a lot of resentment on my side. To her credit, I kept it to myself, and that's on me. A year ago, I met an amazing woman, 25 female, though I shared through a shared hobby, and had an immediate connection. She was just out of a serious relationship, so being secondary, I hate that term, in parentheses, worked for her until she was ready to start looking for a new mono relationship. What I did not expect was a jealousy from my girlfriend at that new connection. I feel like I've put up with a lot of her constant dating, and the first time I have something more serious, she melts down. It's a great point. About a month ago, well, it's a great point of the guy for feeling this way, not for the girl. About a month ago, my new partner admitted that she'd be interested in going mono with me, which I did not give a solid answer to or disclose to my girlfriend. Friday evening, my girlfriend left for a week away with one of her main partners, 33 male, question mark. It was planned and happened before, but seeing her leave really broke the emotional dam for me. I don't think I'm made for poly or E&M. I've started moving my things to my parents' home over the weekend and agreed to be mono with my new partner. I'm spiraling a bit. Both my parents and my new partner think I should tell my girlfriend and not have to find out when she comes back. I think it's better not to ruin her vacation and have a clean break afterwards. My reasoning is that she won't be alone. She has all her partners to help her out. Also, I'll pay my rent while she looks for a new apartment if she'd rather not keep our current place. What would you rather have me do if you were in my girlfriend's shoes? I'm sorry if this post is all over the place. So basically this guy is in a polyamorous relationship and doesn't want to do that because low-key, that sounds pretty awful to do. I would not want to be in a polyamorous relationship, seeing my girlfriend, go out with some other dudes and start flinging with them. It just feels like this guy doesn't have a lot of self-respect for himself because he's just letting this happen. It seems like he doesn't really want this polyamorous relationship. I think that's what's called polyamorous. But he's just kind of letting it happen because he's afraid to lose her. And he's just afraid to be single. And, you can tell because she was able to find things, but he wasn't really able to find anything. So it's one girl. So I think, in my opinion, I think that he should wait until the vacation's over. Just be a nice guy. It'd be easier to just tell her when she gets back, when you can talk in person about it, instead of just over the phone. But still, I would, stay away from this polyamorous stuff. It could be for cultural reasons you guys are doing it, but this just kind of sounds awful, the situation that you're in. And as soon as you find someone else, she gets all pissy about it and all mad. I don't know what she expected because when you were taking it good when she was finding out other guys, it seemed like. But as soon as you find another girl, she just kind of flips out. So it just kind of feels like a really weird relationship, even though you two both agreed to polyamorous. So you definitely it's a good idea to get out of this relationship and start a mono relationship or one person relationship to where you don't have to worry about your partner finding other guys, because it just feels like, you know, a relationship isn't really serious if you're going polyamorous like that. You know, in my opinion, it just feels like really weird. It could just be because I've never grown up with that stuff. It could be from like different cultures, but that's just how I feel. And I feel like you should at least wait for her to get back and just let her know in person, to where it's just a lot easier to do instead of like over the phone. So that's kind of my thoughts on this story and kind of the advice I would give. I'm reading one of the comments from Helpful Battle 4178. Not sure if it's right or wrong, but like you, I'd probably wait until she's back from her vacation. Either way, you have to give her the bad news. Might as well let her enjoy her vacation, or at the very least, prevent her from using that as justification for further blame. That's true. You have to give the news eventually. Might as well just let her know after and let her have her fun, I guess. So, all right, next story. This one is marriage advice. I am in no way, shape, or form married, but this seems like a good one. It seems entertaining. I am only in a 1-year relationship with a girlfriend, no marriage, don't have kids or nothing. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, you should probably go to a marriage counselor or something if you're having problems with this, and not just some sophomore in college filming a YouTube video, reading Reddit videos. So let's read this. Need advice on what's fair with caring for children. Wife thinks I don't do enough. My wife and I have 2 boys aged 3 and 5. The oldest just started kindergarten. I work full-time from home, typically starting at 8 a.m., sometimes earlier, and have a full 8-hour workday, sometimes longer. My wife has a part-time job working from home as an Amazon reseller, working only 1 to 4 hours a week. Outside of that, she's always spending time trying to make new ventures to make money online, none of which have been profitable. More on this later. We're fortunate enough to where my income can support us, and she works primarily to pay off her own debt along with some of her personal items. Outside of work, I get the kids up and make them breakfast every morning, do all the dishes for the day, majority of the cleaning, trash, vacuuming, yard work, grocery shopping, and preparing dinner most nights. All this, along with anything else that might come up that my wife won't or can't deal with, like dealing with our ant problem, or fixing our sprinkler drip lines, or any general house upkeep. I try to take short breaks during the day to have some playtime with my youngest, or spend some time before bed to wrestle with the kids or get them to expend energy. My wife's primary focus is with the kids. She takes the oldest back and forth to school and judo practice and takes both to all doctor and dental appointments. She also prepares lunch and afternoon snacks for them, helps with schoolwork, potty trains the younger one, launders their clothes, bathes them, and puts them to bed every night. Here's the problem. My wife thinks I don't do enough for our kids or our family. My counter is that I do based on everything I mentioned above. She has asked that I step in sometimes, either bring or pick up the oldest to school. She is not a morning person and has complained about having to get up early to take our oldest to school. I'm not able to take off for 30 to 40 minutes at a time to taxi my child to school. My work responsibilities recently increased with new projects, and I'm pretty much expected to be online and available for the entire workday. I have a really good paying job and don't want to risk losing it. I do my best to keep the kids out of her hair on Saturdays and Sundays so that she can at least sleep in on those days. Recently, she's requesting that I put in the kids to sleep so that she has more time to work on one of her non-profit online ventures. I try to tell her that childcare is a priority that she doesn't need to waste, and that she doesn't need to waste what precious little time we have on these fruitless efforts. Plus, when she's putting the kids down, I'm wrapping up dinner, dishes, and cleaning the kitchen. In my opinion, her requests are unreasonable and that I've tried to talk to her about it, but she has reportedly told me that I don't do enough for the kids. Please share your opinions, insights, and similar experiences to help with my wife and I sort this out. Well, I don't have any similar experiences, but TLDR, wife says I don't do enough for our kids and family. She does not work, really, and wants me to take the kids to school. I think I do plenty for our family, and I'm unable to take the kids to school due to my work. Okay, first water break. Alright, so this is interesting. First of all, I think the guy is 100% in the right in the situation. in my opinion, because he's literally like the one bringing in the income for the family, which is like the most important thing. And when you have kids, you have to make these sacrifices. It's a very, very hard. I think I've never raised a kid, but being a kid recently, my parents probably struggled. It's not an easy thing, and people have to make sacrifices. And it seems like the husband is making plenty of sacrifices right now. And it seems like the wife is just kind of not really wanting to sacrifice much for her children. I mean, she does the stuff. She takes kids to doctor's appointments and body trains them, I think, and does all that stuff. But she's complaining about that. Like, it is your full-time job, basically, to take care of a kid. It's like being a parent is another full-time job along with their full-time job, it seems like. And it seems like the husband's making the sacrifices and putting the work and is doing a great job providing the income and helping take care of the house and all that. And the wife seems like she's not doing as much, and she's still complaining about that. So I feel like, obviously, I'm no expert, I've never been married. Definitely communicate this with her, express that, like, hey, I feel like I do enough, I get all the income, and I feel like it is your job to do the rest of the stuff. Like, I'm doing my part of the job. It seems like you don't want to do your part of the job, which is not how parenting works. But, obviously go to a marriage counselor about this if you're having some troubles with it. But that's just kind of my opinion. You got this hardworking husband doing all this stuff, taking care of the house, full-time job, along with taking care of the kids. And the mom's just kind of dilly-dallying, doing, whatever, being unproductive, it seems like, just doing these 1 to 5 hours a week on this Amazon thing, and not really making the money. And the husband's providing, and it feels like the wife is not putting in the effort that she needs to be. Then she just starts projecting her insecurities onto you, it seems like. So that's what I would do. But just a kid on the internet explaining, reading Reddit stories, so don't really take this with a grain of salt. But that's just my opinion. But hold up, I'm reading one of the comments from Express Baker 4997, and it says, it's a hilarious that your wife's post brought me here. So she also made a post about this. I have no clue about this one. You left a lot out. So, okay, this is kind of crazy. It doesn't matter how much you make, you still need to be an active parent to your kids. They're not pets you ask for and shuck the responsibilities onto someone else. If your wife is saying she needs that much help and she's overwhelmed and exhausted while you show a lack of emotional support, especially in her ventures, then there's more you can be doing, whether you want to or not. You're trying to make everything fully transactional, while marriage is ebb and flow. You're getting annoyed that she's asking for more support with the kids. Bizarre. A lot of men work hard so they can excuse themselves for other places they lack in the home. It's not an excuse. Help your wife. Apparently there's a lot being left out in this post, which I don't know. I've only seen this post. This is probably my 10th minute on Reddit before. I've never really been on Reddit. I just had this idea. But I can see where Express Baker 9497 is coming from. It's a dual process. It's both people got help with the marriage. But to me, it seemed like the guy was helping. It seemed like he was doing a lot, providing for the family, because my dad kind of does the same thing. He's a firefighter, so there's days where he's gone for 3 or 4 days in a row, and my mom has to take care of the kid. Still has to take care of us. It still felt like I was being taken care of though by my dad, even though he wasn't there providing, because he was out there providing, working hard for us. And that's kind of seems like what this dad is doing in this relationship, in my opinion. And obviously, he still took care of us when he was home. And it sounds like he is doing it. In between his work shifts, in his break, he's taking care of the kids and after work, because you work a full-time job. While obviously the kids are another full-time job. If you start slacking off playing with the kids, the boss doesn't care. He's still gonna get on your ass about it. About you need to keep working hard like this. Like, you can't be taking all these breaks playing with the kids probably. So it's kind of hard for him to do while his wife has more free time. It's your wife's job to be doing most of these jobs for her kid. Well, obviously, this sounds like the dad is showing a lack of emotional support, according to Express Baker 9497. So that's something he needs to talk about with her. He needs to hear her out, and she needs to hear him out of what he's saying. It's just kind of a clear communication thing that needs to be going on. So that's my opinion on that. So let's get to the next story. Okay. Third and probably final one. I'll make this the final one. This one is need advice. I'm a 26-year-old failure that I don't know what to do anymore. So we're gonna read this and let's see what I come up with, because it seems like I read this before recording this, and it seems like you can turn his life around, but obviously you're gonna need a little more help than me. Let's go. I'm 26 years old and I'm a failure who is completely useless to society. What should I do? I'm a stereotypical loser. I'm 26, still live with my parents. I have a low-paying job that doesn't translate to anything useful. I have zero interest. I have zero real-life experience. I hate everything about my life, and most of the time I only think about either committing suicide or hopefully I die peacefully. It's not like I didn't try. I went to college. I tried to get into a decent STEM field, but because I was a dumbass, I couldn't even pass the basic math. So I flunked the barrier to entry for basically every major that is worth attending college for. Instead, I got a journalism degree, which is the worst decision I've ever made in my life. There are no jobs in this field, and they lowered the requirements so even high school grads can get the job. So now it is literally a useless degree. So at this point, I'm 30K in debt, as well as a dogshit degree that I regret every day I wake up. I have no idea what to really do because I mostly hate my life and everything about it. I'm tired of popping antidepressants that only keep me up just above the water in terms of mental stability, because without them, I can't even sleep because I have rapid thoughts of suicidal and sometimes even homicidal ideations in my head. How can I turn my life around while also trying to focus and push through my own mental state? Edit. I didn't think it would get that much huge response from this post, so I want to thank everyone who posted. There are a lot of people who posted really thoughtful things, and I really appreciate that. Okay, well, this was posted 3 years ago, so I don't know if there's an update or anything, but I'm sure the comments are very helpful, much more helpful than what I'm about to say, because I've never really had suicidal thoughts or anything like this. But you're still 26 at this time, 29 now. You're still really young. You have plenty of life to live. Most people die at around 85, plenty of life to live, plenty of time to turn your life around. Like, your life is not over. This guy have this mindset of, my life is already over at 26, when it's just not. You have so much more time to turn your life around, and you just have such a negative attitude. Whenever I'm down, you just gotta think of things to be grateful for. I mean, you could be stranded in the sea of the ocean. You could be attacked by a shark. You could lose your limbs. You could be disabled. You could be so many worse things than what the situation you're in right now. So you may think that this is the worst situation in the world, but it could always be worse. That's a great mindset to have. There's always a worse situation you can be in, but this doesn't mean that you can just sit around. So first thing you gotta do, it seems like you're in a very poor mental state. You just gotta find something that you're passionate about. Like, what are you passionate about? It can be literally anything. And just find some way to do that. And finding a passion, even if it's not the healthiest passion, like maybe video games or something. Video games, is having a passion like that is still healthier than just sitting around and just not having anything to look forward to. Even though stuff like that is not the greatest. But another thing is you gotta start doing things that's gonna improve your mental health. Things like going to the gym, going outside, gratitude journaling. Heck, it even seems like you need a Bible. Even though I'm not religious, like, religion does put some very good foundations in your life. You can do all of this stuff to help improve instead of just popping these antidepressants. You need to start talking to more people. You need to start being more social. Back in the day, I wasn't social at all. I was very, very antisocial. And then I literally just started talking to people. I just jumped straight in the deep end and started talking to people. You gotta do all these things. Like, your life is not ruined, even though you're in debt. And since the entry was lowered for these people in the journalism degree, with this degree, now that you have a college degree, you stand out so much more compared to these just people in high school. These people in high school, they don't really have any experience in this kind of journalism field. If you show people that you have a college degree on this, it's gonna help boost and get your name out there a lot more than these people. So definitely try and get a job with journalism, even though the job market is not the greatest. I don't know about 3 years ago, but I know now it's not. So try and do that. Start getting in the gym. start doing push-ups, start meditating. You just gotta turn your life around, and you just gotta cut out all the bad habits in your life, because you're a stereotypical loser. So let's think about the stereotypical loser. Doesn't go outside. He still lives with his parents. That's not bad. That's free rent. You get a free house pretty much. Free food. So living with your parents, that is not a bad thing. Low paying job, you can just find a new job. I mean, fast food places with low entry places still have good money. Especially when you're living with your parents and you do not have to worry about rent. It's just gonna be so much easier to get your foot, like start getting the ball rolling. But by living with your parents, you don't have to worry about rent, food pretty much, all this stuff. And you're still young, 26. Get a job at a gym, free membership. Get into the weight room. And even if you can't afford that stuff, you still do push-ups, you can still do calisthenic stuff, you can still go for a run. That's not an excuse to not do all this stuff. You can meditate. You have a phone, you're able to write this stuff down. You can look up a meditative video. You can look up stuff on how to improve your life, maybe how to even make money online. Try and learn that stuff. There's so much stuff that you can do at the ripe age of 26 instead of just thinking your life is over, because it's not. And there's so much more to do in your life. You haven't even hit 30 yet. 30 is like your prime. You haven't even hit your prime yet. You are still, you're not even at your prime. There is still so much potential. Even now when you're 29, you still have so much potential. You can still turn your life around. I've seen stories of people turning their life around at the age of 50, so much older. You can turn your life around so easily at this age. So don't get down on yourself too much. I know it's really hard to think that you can change your life. It just seems like you're so down in the dumps. I completely get that, don't worry, but it's not the end. Whenever you're in a dark place, never think that's the end. You can always improve. There's always room for improvement in any sort of life situation that you're in. So just remember that. So that's our last story. And we're just gonna do 3. That was really fun. That's my first time doing it. And not sure how good this advice is or how many people are really gonna watch this video, but I'm happy with this. It's good. This is first step into becoming a therapist, because that's something I've always wanted to do. And if you enjoy, I don't know, like the video, maybe you can take some of this advice. Maybe if you're married, and you're struggling with the kids, you can take that advice. Maybe if you're in a polyamorous relationship, you can take that advice. Maybe if you're like what's his username? The Texas Ranger. You can be like him. If you're like him, maybe you can take some of his advice. But that's all I really got for you today. So have a great rest of your evening. Go to bed if it's past 10 p.m. It's past your bedtime. Wake up early, drink a lot of water. It's a great day to have a great day. Remember that, okay? Bye-bye.